What up, everyone? How are you? Hopefully okay. Anyway, my name is Scott Redler. I am your Chief Strategic Officer at T3Lab.com. Welcome to Thursday's recap. Lot going on. This erratic push-pull market, divergences, you name it, it's happening. And there's lots of things to do. Lots of ways to get hurt. Lots of ways to make money. You see this fine line here? Let's see. This is actually pretty thick. This napkin, this is a thick line. You see this fine line? Right here. Hold on, let me get the fine line. That is the line between losing a little, losing a friggin' shitload, excuse my French, making a little or making a lot. That's what's happening in the market right now. You know, across the board. Like, you could be right and then wrong. You could be looking to be right and then be wrong and then right. That's why you really need to have your levels mapped out. You need to know when you could start buying, you know, where things push you lower to be right, and then where things you could short, you know, and take some pain in that direction. Because if you start too early shorting, you could be right but wrong because you can't stay with it, and the same thing on the opposite side. Anyway, whoo, what a market, huh? Lots of debate, lots of banter across the board. You know, do you want to spend your energy, you know, in the debate? Everyone's like, Red Dog, what do you think? What do you think? You know, well, listen, I'm a market figure, right? I have 125,000 public Twitter followers, and they're real. They're not bots. I've been building it for 10 years. So I feel like I have a middle, you know, middle of the ground approach where, even though it helped me because I went out short the 320 calls for GME, and it was 150 points against me when I was trying to do my morning work. I'm not going to say who made fun of me, but it's fine. Anyway, whew, that fine line could have been, I could have lost a lot of money. Instead, I made a lot of money on my GME calls. Anyway, so what was my line of thinking there? What was my line of thinking, Red Pub?
I wasn't listening.
You weren't listening? You're supposed to listen to everything that I said.
I was pulling up the
We're
charts.
talking about your line of making and not
Oh, there you go. Phil, there you go. The fine line. The fine line. Anybody watch me playing poker last night? You know, I was playing poker, you know, online. I do it every Wednesday night. Every now and then I have everyone watch because I feel like it's fun. Why not? You guys want to watch me play poker and against, you know, 10 Short Hills guys? If you Google Scott Redler, best poker players, I don't know how I got put there, but I'm with all the billionaires, and I'm far from a billionaire. Anyway, you know, I was like, I went out short a little bit of the GME 320s. I'm like, I didn't do it earlier. It's time. I think I can be okay. Then all of a sudden, Portnoy is like, hey, I'm buying $1 million worth of AMC. It's down $4. Go fuck the suits. So I'm like, oh shit. I wake up this morning. You know, this morning it was like I woke up today at 4:15. I went in the sauna prior. You know, GME was down only 18 points. I'm like, how is this only down 18 points? Well, by the time I did my workout, got out of the shower, tweeted to you guys all my little, you know, overseas markets, the S&P charts, the, you know, China, what's it called? Asia tidbits, and then, you know, everything else. Lo and behold, it's 5:30 now. Stock's up 80 points. I'm like, oh my goodness, it's up 80 points. And then I got to get texts from like my friends from around town. Oh, do you see GME? They say it's going to 1,000. So I'm just like scratching my head. I'm like, okay, I'm short a little bit from 320. What am I going to do? I'm like, I'm going to stick to my guns. Everybody just back the hell off. I'm the Chief Strategic Officer. I'm going to friggin' let you know what I'm doing. You don't have to, that's not really nice. But anyway, that's what I'm supposed to do. So I had to just come in and relax. Like Wim Hof. The Iceman! No. He could be really cold out there in Alaska, but he breathes. So I came in this morning. I'm like, let me listen to some music. You know, I have 9 or 10 positions on. Market's up a bit, you know. GME's are trading at 480 points. I'm like, 160 points. I'm like, and then I'm like, just avoid it. Just don't look at it. Do what I do every day. Put together the charts for other access, write my note, you know, play some music. And anyway, P.S. Before we get to this chart, look what actually it did. It did a red dog reversal. I didn't even have to do it. I could have waited. Could have waited for it to push through yesterday's high, squeezed the shorts, come back below, shorted it right there, and not had to play poker last night thinking about, everything else that could happen in the morning. So anyway, if you go to GME, what's a red dog reversal right there? Push through 380, went as high as 483, which is a friggin' just 100 points between friends. And it was above that pre-market, right? As high as 4. Came back below, and then right when it went below, that was your trigger. They stopped out the remaining shorts, came back below. Anyone who chased it had to get out, and then it friggin' dropped all the way down. It really went to 112 because I actually played it for a bounce. I'm not even gonna get into that. Those on the virtual trading floor thought I was crazy when I started buying it at 140 down to wherever the hell I bought it down to and made some money. But anyway, look at this range. This gap is filled. This gap is done. This is 112. Anyway, what a move. It just goes to show you, like I think what people were trying to get people not to do, with AMC and these guys, they just knew that, at some point, it could be after day 1, it could be after day 8. You never know how many days it's going to be. You get that, rug pull. So I think what most people like me, or some of the technical trading personalities out there that most follow, that don't get louder when they're wrong, just didn't want people to, buy and chase and then get screwed. Like this AMC. This AMC closed up near 20. You had friggin' Portnoy, who was doing a great thing, raising a lot of money. He's like, I'm buying $1 million worth after hours at 18. And, excuse me, PS, it went as low as 650. It's a big move lower. It's funny. I went home yesterday. It's crazy how many of the kids are on TikTok and looking at the market, and they're really looking at Robinhood that way. But anyway, let's move on. So anyway, just if you're going to buy a stock, you're not buying it because I'm buying it. You're not buying it because the virtual trading floor. You're not buying it because you're buying it because you understand the rationale behind it. Okay, you're buying it because you understand the setup. Okay, and if you do that, then it's fine. If you understand the risks, the setup, and your tiers, you could do it forever, even if I'm not here. So anyway, some people were pretty astounded by the way I handled GME today, but whatever. It's not even a fun. It's just a day in the life. I did the same thing with Tesla too. Tesla was my #1 trade from the long side, but every now and then we got it super duper 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 extended. I made some money shorting calls. Let's move on. So here's a new chart of GME. We'll see what happens. It's actually up $50 after hours. Maybe Robinhood's allowed to buy it again. I don't know. I would just let it do its thing. Don't overly,
Here's some Robinhood news.
What's the news? They're allowed to trade it again?
Limited buy of GameStop, AMC, and others tomorrow.
Yeah, so pretty much what they did today, except a little less.
All right, I put some AMC. I wouldn't think people should be in a rush to buy it. So there is news. That's why this just went from 200 to 255. What am I short now? I'm short some 480s, 570s, and 540s. Anyway, it'll cause an emotional move, but I would be very, surprised if it gets above 380 or, a lot of people got stopped out. There's a lot of memories now. Oh my God, I got out here. Oh, this was 112. So if I still were you, I would not be chasing, GME. I wouldn't do it. Anyway, it's up to you. So let's move on. High beta tech is still hard. Apple, I played it early on. I got stopped out towards the end of the day. We'll see, what it does. Apple had a very solid quarter, blah, blah, blah. couldn't reclaim the prior low. If you look at the 1 day, this is how I did it. Okay, if you look at it, put a low in, I bought it. I said to you guys, hey, I bought it versus the 138 low. Okay, so this is a little day trading tactic. So where did I buy it? I bought it right around here. Okay, versus the low. Gave you a move up to here, stayed with it, came back in, then all of a sudden went to the gap right above, right around 142. I'm like, I'm still in Apple. I sold some, and then, you know, right around lunchtime, I'm like, you know what? It pulled into 139. Let me buy a little bit. Bought a little bit. I said I'll put my stop in at the low of the day, and then what happened? I stopped out. Broke the low of the day. Done with it. That is a method, and that's a risk-averse way of doing a trade. Not by just, you know, buying it and throwing shit against the wall. You're doing it for, you know, in a responsible way. It had earnings. We don't take stock into earnings. I didn't have options on. So all of a sudden I'm like, hey, now, you know, we could buy it versus this level. Like maybe I bought it here. I don't even remember. You know, sold some as it filled the gap. Bought some versus here. And then got stopped out. I wound up losing money in Apple. It's fine. I'm cool with that. So what's happening right now at 4:30 is Robinhood's letting, you know, the Robinhood is buy again. I don't think it's going to have the same effect that it's had, but you will get an emotional move up, I would think. Or at least if you're short, there'd be a little bit of a short squeeze. I did buy some AMC at $10. Just because I feel like that one, why can't I get to 11 or 12? I'll buy a little bit more maybe.
You seen any backs?
Yeah. Oh, it's up 32 points now? Anyway. Just sold some AMC and 1090 that I bought at 10s. It's fine. You know, this is a lot easier. I feel like there's less risk to buy. I'm not buying GME, so you're out of your mind. Anyway, so that was Apple. Stopped out. Go back to the yearly chart. I'll tell you, it's hard. Facebook. My goodness gracious. How this rallied so fast in the first 10 minutes, got rejected at 285 and then closed in the dead lows. That's tough. Very hard. Very, very hard. So I avoided it today. I'm going to still avoid it. Amazon, you know, still in the range. I had puts that I wanted to make good money on that I sold. I didn't buy them. I sold them because I've been trying to be synthetically long, and I actually covered some just to, you know, get out of the way, and we'll see how it looks closer to earnings. I would not overtrade it. I just sold some AMC up here. I'm going to hold the rest. It was as high as 20. I'm sure Portnoy, that's one of his bigger positions, is going to be like ranting and raving about it. Anyway. So, get this out of the way. Remember, wait a little bit of time before you post them. This is the virtual trading floor, actually, by the way, you know, heading into tomorrow. Actually, can I have one more slide? I'm having a sighting mighty. I'm going to have one more before we go. Red Pup's going to get it for us. Have a beverage. It's 4:32. Everybody deserves a beverage. It's been a long day. It's been a long day. Longy, 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 long day. Well, look at that. AMC going through 11.
It's a little dented, but it should be good.
It's a little dented. So you guys think it's going to explode? Let's see. Oh, no explosion. All right, hold on. I'm going to trim a little bit more of AMC if I can, above 11. Anyway, see, that's everybody chatting it up on the virtual trading floor. What up, virtual trade floor? Anyway, so we'll see what happens here. Netflix had a little bit of a bounce, but again, not much continuity. Filled the gap. Most resistance points just ranges now. This is all ranges. So we draw this like this now. You know, we'll see what happens here. Lots of range trades. That's all we have now is range trades. This would have been special if it stayed above there. It didn't. So it's done. Cheers to a crazy long week and to sticking to our guns and having a plan. If you have a plan, you can execute with more confidence than not.
See you, fellas.
Later, brother.
Good night.
Some come out on HUSA. That's down so much. I'll buy a little bit. No secondary. All right, anyway. So let's go. So these are the names that we normally trade that are hard. Didn't have special capabilities, went lower, out of the way. Facebook. This is like look at this one. Look how hard this was right here. First of all, look how fast this went. And I was looking at it to go from red to green. I played Apple, didn't go as fast. So some people are like, Redler, what could you have seen here? How could you have maneuvered this? Well, first this was resistance. Right here, when it went sideways for a little bit, you got to be careful. And then this pullback wasn't that big of a deal, right? But right here, okay, after the size of the move that it had, which was a pretty sizable move, it really shouldn't have got back below here, right? It wound up pushing fast, went as high as whatever this is, 286, pulled in a little bit. Right here is where it should have held, and it broke. That would have been my out. And then it just came in for the majority of the day. That's hard. Boom, boom, round trip. What you want is you want a boom, you want a higher low, and you want boom. That didn't happen. Okay, let's see what's happening here now. AMC. See now here too, like boom. What you want to do is you want to see it hold higher, and then you want to see it go again. Right now we'll see. This would be the spot that it should hold. Excuse me. So much action. So many things going on. Elon, Shopify is great too. I wouldn't buy Shop because Elon said it. It's up 60. Let's see. Just so you know, when he touted Etsy, it was up, and the next day it opened up and went red, so be careful. Come on, Elon. You gotta chill out a little bit. Don't be pushing stocks around and trying to get people on things. Cheers. Cheers to responsibility. That's what I want. Oh, so back to the whole thing on, do I think that any platform should ban people from buying? No. You can't tell people they can't buy a stock that they want to buy. But you could say, hey, you need to do it in cash. You can't do it on margin, because that could get you in trouble. You could buy a stock and say, hey, I'm going to be in it. I don't care what happens. But if you do it on margin and then it goes below a certain level and you don't have a certain margin percentage, they'll mechanically sell you, and that creates a mechanical waterfall. So you don't want to do that. That's my suggestion is, no margin on, on certain situations. Even though we give leverage out across the board based on your skill set and how we classify you. But anyway. Anywho, Microsoft, what did you do today? What's going on here? Look at that. Look how, but this is kind of crazy. Sorry. Why is it kind of crazy? Well, not really that crazy, but made a new high today after selling off after earnings. So if you're like, oh, this is done, made a new high at 242.60. What's high here? 242.64. What's this high? This is 240. That's not easy. Both ways, right? You think, hey, look at this, it failed. It opened up, failed. That's what it looked like yesterday. What the hell is that thing? Anyway, then today, it ran people over. if you were short. So maybe we're getting into the market where there's like not a lot of muscle memory, right? Muscle memory is tough. You know, you want muscle memory. You want something to close strong and open up strong. You want something that closes weak, opens lower. That's how you get follow through. We love follow through. Traders make money and make a living on follow through. The right trade, whatever the good book says. The good book says something closes strong, you should be able to buy it and then hold it and then sell it the next day higher. If something closes strong and for some reason there's a macro event that brings it down, you should be able to buy that the next day to go green. You know, and salvage a situation, which is why if you're in the right trade, typically you'll do fine. Same way if something closes really weak and you're short and then the market's up because of some kind of news, then you should be able to short that to go red. These are like little pieces of, you know, news or tidbits to trade. Anyway, fuel cells, F-cell, still fantastic. Did make a new high. I tweeted to you guys and let you know that I was selling more options. Went to 25. Wow. Getting loose and wide a little bit harder, so you got to make sure you take some trades. Trade the ranges. For trading the ranges is very important. You know, all in all, it's still above the 8 to 8, still moving up. I'm not trading Ballard Power or Plug. You know, it's good to know what they're doing. What did Plug do today? Didn't do a whole hell of a lot. What did BLDP do today? Didn't do a whole hell of a lot. Held the area though. What did NEO do today? NEO stopped me out. Oh, look at that, a little red dog reversal. Went below prior low, came back above it, still building this upper range. I am not in NEO, but it looks a little bit better. SPAC land is still not doing extra special. Something just happened. What just happened? Oh, just AMC going nuts. SPAC land, INAQ, finally a little bounce. You know, there's definitely some room if it wants it up to at least this spot. You know, held this area. I'm in a lot of it still. GSEH, not much of a bounce. I would have expected a bigger bounce. Didn't happen, but it's holding here. I think it bounces into this area. I stayed with that. LGVW held the support also. You know, so all these things kind of held in and gave you a little bit of a bounce. If you bought it in the hole, gave you a way around it. It held. Some people are still in IPOF. Not me. Stop that. Turned up, which is good. Maybe it's got some room back to there. Get like 3 phone calls. Someone asked me why am I in CEI? Just a trade. Day one potential. If you look at where this thing was way back in the day, for the 5-year chart. I'm saying it's gonna get there. I'm saying, bud, this is CEI, so maybe there's, you know, a trade there. Maybe we'll see. Anyway, saw it pop up a few times back in the day, so I went with some. So you'll see on the disclosure. Anyway, MBIO had a little bit of a bounce. Held this area. I'm still in it. I have more today than I came in with. I'm hoping that this CMC hold comes off soon. I think it will be soon. And if that happens, it could get a nice little pop from here to here. If this is the area, maybe we make higher highs soon. So I have more than that, more than I had. Hold on a sec. What are you doing? GME is not having as much of a bounce as people would have thought. It's a 250. It's a 254, which is good. Anyway, very erratic. Very erratic. What else happened today? Zoom covered my puts, just expiring tomorrow. So I figured, hey, not breaking down. If this wanted to break down, it could have broken down already. It held this 362. BFF looks better. Held where it had to. I did buy it into weakness, and I trimmed around it and traded around it. Looks okay. A little red Rosso there, actually. What was today's low? 1137. All right, what else? It's definitely, a fast market, guys. Why do I get up at every day at 4:45? So I could give us levels, I could prepare, I could be ready when things go and are fast, and I could have my confidence and my wherewithal. So this way I don't, lose my cool. I don't do things rash. I just do things based on, the process and the thoughts that we put together. Sometimes, they're not as great as they should be, but I'd say most of the times I'm pretty damn consistent. I know when something's crazy overbought and I'm very close, and I know when something's crazy oversold and I'm close. But again, anything could always happen, so you always have to be careful. I much would rather just, trade a nice active sequence that makes higher lows and higher highs, and you could use your tier system, but every now and then things get a little erratic, they get a little tough, and that's when you got to pull some things back. You have to have a little less risk and narrow down your focus and make some trading money and be on your toes. So this way you don't get caught, and that, this fine line, which is what we have right now, there's a fine line between making a little and making a lot, and losing a little and losing a lot. You don't want to be sliced. You ever get a paper cut? Whew, it could hurt. When the lines aren't as fine, like a napkin doesn't really hurt that much. Anyway, tomorrow's Friday. Get some rest. It's Thursday night, Thursday. Have a beverage, relax. You deserve it. Your P&L doesn't define you if you had a bad week. I'm sure you've had an awesome January and even a better 2020, and we'll continue to put it together. We'll continue to make money, and we'll continue to do the right trades. If you do the right trades, they add up. If you respect your process and you let it evolve, money adds up. If you have a routine that you love and you do it every day, you'll always be in your seat, and you'll be excited about what the opportunity brings you. Remember that little song yesterday? After the night I wake up, we'll see what tomorrow brings. It's that simple. So whatever you decide to take it, and then figure out what's next the next day, and respect and have confidence in your process that whatever happens, if you do the right trade, there'll be a way to manage it. With that said, have a good night, guys. Here's to you. Here's to traders around the world. Technical analysis that unites continents. Cheers.